This is the Red Line, and I am your host, Jimmy Red. Thanks for tuning in. Man, oh man, Week 10 of the NFL is over, and Week 11 is just around the corner, folks. And man, there were some matchups in Week 10 that definitely surprised some people. I'll tell you that for sure. My eyes lit up like that. I'm a Titans fan, and they defeated the Patriots for sure. I had vice versa. I had a 42-28 Patriots. It ended up being 34-10 Titans. And a lot of people are like, well, Patriots aren't the same team. Folks, just think for a minute. Hold on. Let me stop you real fast. Josh McDaniels left and went and head coached Denver. The first time he played Bill Belichick, what did he do? He won, and he had Tim Tebow. The next coach to play him was just recently, and he's the head coach for the Lions, and that's his defensive coordinator who just left in Matt Patricia. What did he do? He defeated him, and the Lions suck. The coach for the Titans, Mike Vrabel, used to be with Belichick. They're in New England for like 126 games. First time he's played him, what did he do? He beat him. Don't read into it that far. First time he's seen him, he beat him. Don't read into it. But is it great for us Titans fans? Yeah, it's stoked because that gave us to show that Marcus Mariota can step up when he needs to. And we also found out that Corey Davis can step up and be a number one receiver when he needs to as well. And that's big considering we don't have a receiver right now that we used to have because he's hurt with Delaney Walker, who's really our tight end, but he plays wide receiver. But that was big. And also Derrick Henry stepped up big in that game as well. He scored 2 big touchdowns in that game for us when we needed him, showed he could run the ball. I know he only had 58 yards on 11 carries, but still stepped up big, won that game, looked great. For sure. Big win for the Titans. They've already got a couple big wins this year against Jacksonville and Philly. Neither one of those teams look too phenomenal right now, but when they won them, they look great. Jags and Colts. I said that was a game that meant a lot, had a lot of implications on it, and it did. Because basically the winner of that game still had a shot to win the division. And with the Colts playing Tennessee this week, yeah, they had to win this game. I said that score was going to be 28-24 Indy. I was close. 29-26 was right there at it. I mean, so close. And Leonard Fournette came back from injury. He's ran the ball 24 times, 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Indy played really solid defense, defense stoppage for sure. But I think that they had some stuff they had to work on there to stop them a little bit more because if they go up against a stronger back, they're going to run through them a little bit more. Leonard Fournette came back from injury, and that was tough. But Bortles had a really good day, 320 yards with 2 touchdowns. Andrew Luck didn't have a day like that. Andrew Luck only had 285 yards and 3 touchdowns and an INT. So he didn't have the yards. Field position won that one for him as well. But Dante Moncrief has stepped up for Jacksonville, who used to be the Colts. Moncrief came from Indy, went over there to Jacksonville, so you knew he was going to step up and have a big game. And then T.Y. Hilton was back after being injured for a couple games, 3 receptions, 77 yards. Big win for the Colts. Colts needed that. The reason they needed it puts them two games behind division leader Houston, who was on a bye. Houston entered that bye hot, and when you enter something hot, you can come back cold because you took that rest. So see what happens there. And they play Tennessee this week. So Tennessee got the big win last week. Indy's got the big win. Tennessee's 1 game back. Indy's 2 games back. If Houston losing, Indy's right there in the top for the conference. So this is going to be a tough matchup and tough battle between those 2 teams coming up. It's a huge win for Indianapolis. Big morale booster for the Colts for sure. Won 3 games back-to-back. Haven't won 3 games in over 3 years since that happened. So 3 years it's been since they've won 3 games in a row. Awesome to see the Colts back on a winning streak. Awesome to see them back. Football needs that for sure because Indy has been a team that a lot of people have been able to relate to over the last decade because of Peyton Manning. So awesome to see the Colts with the win there over Jacksonville. Another game I told you guys, don't sleep on them because Seattle's a team that you got to worry about. And I told you guys that. I just didn't give them enough credit. I said it was going to be 32-21 the Rams. Man, 36-31. Seattle hung around the entire game. I told you guys, don't sleep on Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I understand they're 4-5. They were 4-4 entering the game, only 500, but they're not a bad team. They've just had a tough schedule. They still got Tyler Lockett. They still got Rashad Penny. They still got, let's see here, Doug Baldwin. They got all them guys right there. They don't have any problem. And they still got Russell Wilson, who can make stuff happen in the backfield because he's a mobile quarterback. They're a good team, except they were just met by a better team with Jared Goff and Brandon Cooks and Todd Gurley, and then the defense just was incredible. Like we always mention on here, the Rams defense is stacked. But the big thing to take away from this game is, yes, the Rams did win this game, but it came with a price, a big price. They lost Cooper Kupp with an ACL injury for the rest of the year, and you have to wait and see what that does to their offense, which we will see this week, because they have a huge matchup coming up this week on Monday Night Football. So we would definitely see what they have in store for them, although it's a big matchup just offensively. I'll explain that later on in the show, why that matchup is big, but it's just an offensive matchup basically. But I told you don't sleep on this game. It was close. I gave it not enough credit. I said 32-21, ended up being closer than I thought it was going to be. So good job there on that one to them boys, but it came with a price. One I did not see happening here for sure was the Cowboys and the Eagles. I thought the Eagles were better than this. And maybe it's got something to do with Carson Wentz coming back from injury and not being able to go through camp. But, man, they struggled. They definitely struggled. I said the score was going to be 18-28. Cowboys got beat by 10. Well, the Cowboys won by 7, 27-7. And Dak Prescott went 26 for 36, 270 yards and a touchdown, and at the same time joined an elite club. He is only the 5th player to throw 50 touchdowns and run for 10 touchdowns in the first 40 games. Dak Prescott joined that group. He's one of 5. The other 4 that he's in there with are Otto Graham, Dante Culpepper, man. Dante Culpepper used to tear it up when he played for the Vikings. Andrew Luck for the Indianapolis Colts, and Cam Newton. That is an elite club right there that he's a part of. So a huge shout out to Dak. I understand a lot of people don't look at him as a franchise quarterback. I certainly don't look at him as a franchise quarterback for Dallas. I think they need to draft another quarterback. But he could be proving everybody wrong with those numbers, because all those other guys he's listed with are Hall of Famers, or at least potential Hall of Famers. Ezekiel Elliott, though, had a game. Oh my Lord, did he have a game. He had 151 yards, 1 rushing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, and he ran the ball 19 times. He hurdled a man that was standing pretty much straight up in the air. He would have ran that into the end zone if he didn't trip. So he had a phenomenal, and that Amari Cooper deal, that when they went out and made that trade, everybody was like, why'd they give up a first rounder? They're like, that's terrible, it's terrible. I knew it was great, because all that did is it gave him that guy they had to watch, and that allowed Cole Beasley to start getting back open, and Allen Hurns. That opened the field back up for Dak to be able to throw the football. Dak's numbers went up, and he's done exactly what they needed to do. Great pickup getting Amari Cooper. I knew it was going to be phenomenal. The big thing, though, to come out of this game was Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz has 61 catches in 8 games. Phenomenal. First guy to do that. There's only one other tight end to have 30-plus catches in back-to-back months. That guy's Jason Witten, and he did it in 2012. He had Tony Romo as a quarterback at that time, and Jason Witten was a phenomenal tight end. So that puts Zach Ertz in a pretty phenomenal crowd, and he's the one who helped rally this team right back into it when he caught 4 passes back-to-back at the end of the game, tried to drive that team down the field. He ended up with 14 receptions, 145 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Zach Ertz, man, carried the team in that game. And you kind of wonder, why did he carry the team in that game? They got plenty of receivers. They got Alshon Jeffries and Nelson Aguilar, and Jay Ajayi's hurt. That's the problem. They don't have Jay Ajayi. They're running the ball with Adams right now, and that's not the problem solver. So the big thing to take away from that game is the Eagles are not the team that everybody expected. Dallas now tied with them. And you kind of got to wonder, are those teams ever going to make the playoffs? Either one of them? Because Washington's starting to take off. And the Giants are just, well, they're terrible. So kind of wonder what's going to happen here. Is it just going to be a runaway for the Skins now? Because Dallas just beat the Eagles, and a lot of people thought this was the point when the Eagles turned it around facing Dallas, because Dallas struggles throughout the year, but they were unable to do it. The one that I definitely missed on for sure, and it hurt. I mean, it hurt. was the Carolina game. I said Carolina was going to win 28-21 Thursday night on the road after coming after that big matchup they had the week before that. Boy. They got their doors blown off. OFF in capital letters. 52-21. I mean, wow. I don't know if they forgot to get on the plane, if they forgot that they were playing Thursday night football, or what. Because the only person that showed up was pretty much Christian McCaffrey for Carolina. I know I talk a lot about Christian McCaffrey because I like him, but about the only one that showed up. He started the game off with a bang. First drive, Carolina went down the field, scored. You're like, hey, this could be good. Went downhill real quick, folks, because Big Ben turned it on after that. 22 for 25, 328 yards, and 5 passing touchdowns. Wow. And James Conner also ran the field like he was just going to a track meet. 13 carries for 65 yards and a touchdown. I mean, what can you do there? Carolina couldn't do anything. McCaffrey was catching touchdowns out of the backfield, got 2 of them, and he ran 1 in. So he got all the touchdowns C-Mac did this weekend. But, I mean, man, come on, boys. Antonio Brown was straight up mocking that rookie cornerback for Carolina when he burned him and just took off down the sideline, and Carolina just was like, man, these guys are good. And that put a statement on it. The Steelers are a tough team this year, and a lot of people need to watch out for them. They could potentially be in the fight now for the AFC Championship game because the Patriots got beat by Tennessee. If they don't find a way to turn it around, they ain't going to make it. So you could be seeing potentially the Steelers and Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. And if those two play each other and they put points up like this, we're going to light the scoreboard up, folks. Let me tell you, because Kansas City don't have any defense. And if the Steelers play like they did against Carolina, who does, they're going to light it up. So that game there hurt for me for sure, considering that Carolina got ripped the way they did. I had them inside my top 5 for power rankings last week because I thought they really found a way to turn it around. They got some tough matchups coming up here in the next few weeks. They don't see the Saints until late in the year. So hopefully they can find a way to get that fixed, get themselves back into the battle for this conference, which I still think they have a shot to win, and I still want to see them win it. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the matchups that are coming up this week. And those matchups that we got coming up this week are the Packers and the Seahawks. That's always a good matchup right there. It never lets you down normally. But it's on a Thursday night, so there's a chance that it definitely could. We've seen a few of them that do that. Aaron Rodgers. Not been the Aaron Rodgers has been all year. Definitely struggled. But Russell Wilson has been the exact same Russell Wilson normally been. And that defense is stepping up for Seattle because they're going back to playing Pete Carroll football. And Chris Carson is running the football pretty good for just stepping in and doing what he's got to do. I mean, he's got 500 yards on like 110 carries all year. So he's looking pretty good. And I think the big question is can Green Bay travel on a Thursday night on the road and win this game? Most of the time on Thursday night, short week, you travel, especially when you're traveling across country, it's going to be tough. But I think Green Bay, with Aaron Rodgers, he's the phenom. They're still at 500. Well, they're over 500 because they got that tie. They're 4-1. Seattle being 4-5. I think they find a way to win this game, Green Bay, and potentially keep themselves in the race to get into the playoffs. I mean, I don't know if they can win the conference. The Bears are rolling right now. But if the Bears get onto a weak streak, they can still win this. So I think this is where Green Bay finds a way to start turning around. Obviously, we all know that Seattle's pretty much out of their division because they're in the same one as the Rams. Could still get it on as a wild card, but the Rams are taking off with that one. So give me Green Bay in that matchup, 32-28. 4 points, I think. It's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be close Thursday night. It's going to be a tough one. One I'm excited for right here, folks. AFC South matchup that I brought up earlier. Titans and the Colts. Winner of this one is either one game behind the leader still of the division in Houston, which is Tennessee. Moves them up to 6 wins. Or Indy, if they defeat them, that moves them to 5, puts them at a tie with Tennessee, gives them the tiebreaker, and puts them either 2 games or 1 game, depending on what happens with Houston's game this week, if Houston wins or loses, where Indy will be. I'm excited. This game is in Indianapolis. Andrew Luck has started to play football again. He's looking like Andrew Luck. Frank Ritt has got that offense going the way it should because that offense is playing football now. It just took a couple weeks to get it rolling. They started off 0-3. Now they've won 3 games back-to-back, which I'm stoked to see. That's exactly what they needed to do. Marlon Mack is back and starting to run the football. And Eric Ebron, who has struggled throughout the year, is starting to find a way to hold on to that football, catch it, and hold on to it and be a trusty target for Andrew Luck. So I think that's coming back, and he just got T.Y. Hilton back as well to play. So I think that this offense is starting to come back together for Indianapolis, and you can't overlook that defense. It's starting to come back alive too. They got defensive players that are starting to look pretty good too. So Indy is starting to turn it on, but you can't forget, like I just mentioned, Corey Davis is starting to develop into the number 1 receiver for Tennessee. Marcus Mariota is starting to look good. Then you got to worry about Derrick Henry and Dion Lewis both. They're all starting to step up for Tennessee. They're playing in Indianapolis. I think Andrew Luck finds a way to win this game, but it's going to be another tough matchup for the Colts. Most of the games they're in to the very end are very, very close. They have a shot to win all of them pretty much this year besides 1 or 2. One of them, they got their doors blown off against the Jets, but they had a chance to beat Houston in overtime and lost that game. And they had a chance to beat another team, and they lost it when they threw the ball. And it's just been a lot of chances they've had a shot. They should have beat Week 1 against Cincinnati. Were unable to do it as well. But I think they pulled this one out 26-24. Give me Indianapolis with the win this week over Tennessee. I think they find a way to do it. Another matchup is the Cowboys in Atlanta. I think this is going to be an exciting one here. I know a lot of people say, well, really, why is that so exciting to you? Well, Atlanta's struggling, and the Cowboys ain't got much of a defense. And Atlanta can put points up, but can the offense of Dallas really hang with them? I don't think Dak Prescott can hang with Matt Ryan in the offense because that offense is rolling. You got Tevin Coleman because Devontae Freeman's still hurt. So Coleman's in. Coleman's trying to show what his contract year is going to look like for him so he can get paid. But you got all these other guys. You got Julio Jones you got to worry about. You got Calvin Ridley you got to worry about. You got Austin Hooper you got to worry about. Mohamed Sanu you got to worry about. You got all kinds of receivers you got to worry about as well. I don't think Dallas has the power to do that, but you also have to understand that Ezekiel Elliott can run that football, and they have firepower throwing the ball as well now that they've got Amari Cooper. You got Cole Beasley who can catch the ball back to his normal position in the slot. He's not the number 1 guy anymore. And you also got Allen Hurns. Tight end you're still trying to figure out because you got Swain, but I don't think you're going to figure that out for at least till the draft. Dak Prescott's going to have the weapons. The big thing is I don't think that offense can hang with the offense of Atlanta. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game for Atlanta. I think Atlanta goes in there and they play at home. They struggled at home a lot of times this year. I think they try to get themselves back into the contention of the playoffs and even maybe discussion of the division, which I don't see happening because the Saints are taking off with it right now. I think they try to get into that battle for a wild card spot with Carolina. I think they win that game 38-24 over the Cowboys at home, something they have not done a whole lot this year. Another matchup that you would be thinking, does he really want to talk about this one, is Minnesota and the Bears. The Bears have turned into a team, folks. I'm shocked. Mitchell Trubisky, when he puts his helmet on, he first off looks like Tony Romo with his helmet on. But that's beside the point. He is looking very, very good. You've got him an edge rusher and Khalil Mack, who's running through the offensive line like he's a train. How do you stop him? I don't understand. His running back, Jordan Howard, is running the ball phenomenal. Tariq Cohen's catching the ball great. He's running the ball great off kickoffs. They're coming around. They're starting to look like a team. Kirk Cousins, I still think, is a 9-7 quarterback. Latavius Murray's looking pretty solid running the football. It's got some picking up to do, I think. I don't think he's that great of a back this year. His numbers were better in my mind last year than this year. But Adam Thielen, his big target, who he's got that you have to worry about. Stephon Diggs will come back and play this week. He said he will be there to play. That's a weapon you have to worry about as well. But I think the Bears and Mitchell Trubisky find a way to play a good game and win this, because I don't think Cousins and the Vikings are what everybody shakes them out to be. And I know that's a shock. The Bears win it, and that puts them up to 7-3 after this win. I lost 3 games in total control of the division after that. I think they win it 24-18 at home. I'm stoked because I just want to see Kirk Cousins get beat because I think he's a 9-7 quarterback. And the matchup that I'm really, really pumped for, That is the game that is Monday night, folks. Let me tell you. That one is going to be a shootout. You got Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, and the Rams. Jared Goff just lost Cooper Kupp with an ACL injury, but he's still got Brandon Cooks. He's got plenty of receivers that he can throw the football to, and they still got Todd Gurley who can do catching and running. Plus, they got the best coach in the NFL with Sean McVay. But Patrick Mahomes, man, 31 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. They're running the ball great with Kareem Hunt, and they're throwing it awesome to Tyreek Hill. This is going to be a complete shootout. It's whoever's got the ball last that's going to win this game, in my mind. But I think that Patrick Mahomes was in a shootout a couple times this year. He was in a shootout in Week 6 against the Patriots, was unsuccessful beating the GOAT. I think that Jared Goff has a smarter head coach. I think he has a better team. I think he's the one to pull this one off. I know Patrick Mahomes would be defeated 43-40 in Week 6 by the Patriots. I think it's almost about the same here, but this time it's just a little bit more. I think it's 4 points instead of 3 this time. I think it's 42-38, the Rams with the win. So give me the Rams. I think the Rams win this game. Let me see what the spread is on this one. Let's see how close I am, because I think that this one's going to be tough. I'm trying to find the spread here for you if they have it online, which I do not see, so I cannot tell you guys the spread on that game. Oh, right here, spread 2.5. So Rams minus 2.5. I got it at 4, so they're basically saying a field goal. Couple quick things I want to hit on just real fast before we go into the red hierarchy are Bengals fired their defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin, after the Saints hung 51 on. I'd fire coach too if I had my defense got 51 dropped on them. Obviously, they've struggled most of the year. They allowed Carolina to drop 36. They've allowed a lot of points. They even allowed Indy in Week 1 to drop like 25, 26 on himself. Des Bryant, that was big. Tore his Achilles tendon. It's done for the year. That was devastating to see. But the Saints did say that when he is healthy, he does get a return shot to come back to New Orleans, which I think is a class act in the Saints. They've since then signed Brandon Marshall, who has yet to ever play in a playoff game. He could potentially go to the Super Bowl with the team he just signed with, so congratulations to Brandon Marshall. Also, the Rams and Chiefs games were supposed to be played in Mexico City. That game has since now been moved to Los Angeles because of field conditions. Players said they would not play on the field because it was terrible. Le'Veon Bell did not report to camp to go play with the Steelers, so that means he is not getting paid. He lost out on $14,544,000 is what he lost out on. That's a lot of money that he left behind. So now he just needs to get healthy and try to go get a Mega Max and go get paid. I know he can't get a Mega Max in football, but he can get a big deal. Also, Hugh Jackson signed as a special coach with the Bengals after being fired just a couple weeks ago by the Browns. You kind of wonder if he's going to be the new head coach for the Bengals, because they'll probably fire their coach, I think, at the end of the year. C.J. Anderson has been cut from the Panthers, so basically that tells you that they know who their number one back is. Their number one back is Christian McCaffrey for years to come. And with that being said, one more thing I want to tell you guys this just real fast. This here is shocking. I don't know if I told you, but the Titans stopped the Patriots on 6 straight drives from scoring any points. The last time that has happened was 12-6 of 2015 against Philly. That's how long ago that was. That's phenomenal. So congratulations to the Titans defense. Now back to the red hierarchy real fast. Sorry I had to jump in there with that tidbit, but the red hierarchy has changed up just a little bit this week after the Patriots lost. I'd take the Patriots down to 5. As I mentioned, the Patriots still got that good team. They still got Tom Brady. They still got Bill Belichick. They were defeated by a coach that played with Brady before. So don't read into it too far. They're still in the top 5. Still one of my teams that could go to the AFC Championship game. But the Steelers are creeping up. The Steelers are right there at 6. They're bumping on the back door, ready to jump into the top 5. So Patriots better keep their head up and get rolling. They're on a bye week this week. Give them time to recover, relax, and be ready to go. So, coming to number 4, jumping back into the top 4, I took them out of my top 5 because I didn't think they were that team that was going to stay rolling as long as they have, and that's Kansas City. I feel bad that I took them out. I think they're back in there. They got a tough matchup this week against the Rams. We'll see what they can do with that tough defense. If they put up a whole lot of points like they still do and lose the game, I still got to leave them in there because that is a tough team to beat, the Rams. Coming in at 3, I have the Rams. I know the Rams got beat by the Saints, but they're still a well-rounded team, and they lost Cooper Kupp. I got to keep the Rams in there. Coming in at 2, a lot of people overlook this team, and that's the Chargers. Can't overlook the Chargers. They look phenomenal this year. They've only lost 2 games, as I keep mentioning, week to week. They've only lost to Kansas City. They only lost to the Rams. Both teams in the top 5. They're there. Phillip Rivers looks good, and Melvin Gordon looks good. So make sure you keep your eye on that team there in L.A. because a lot of people are overlooking them. And then coming in at number 1 is the Saints. They look really good. I got Drew Brees throwing the football well, and they do, folks. In fact, have the number 1 run-stop defense in the NFL because when they shut down a couple weeks ago, Todd Gurley there, it showed their run defense is for real. So their run defense is for real. I got the Saints in at number 1 as of now. But we'll wait and see what happens with them here in the upcoming weeks when they get some tougher matchups. They have a tough schedule throughout the remaining part of the year. So make sure you guys come back here next week, catch the recap from Week 11. I'll even talk about other games if those were close competitive games besides these games, and then we're going to break down Week 13 ahead for the following week to come up for that so you guys can go put your bets on somebody or potentially just sound intelligent to your friends. So make sure you tune in right here next week on The Red Line. We'll see you guys then. See you.